Here to talk about Zebra Technologies, brand new head coach of the Denver Broncos, absolute legend, Super Bowl champion, Sean Payton.
Yeah!
Woo! Hell yeah, coach.
Coach.
Oh, down the line.
Coach,
What's up, Coach? Good to see
Coach.
you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
The team. We don't let anybody's side teams in the building.
Never.
Much like you. Solid crew. We can't hear a fucking word you're saying. You're a TV guy.
Listen, I know better. Fired up. I'm on the Pat McAfee Show. My wife's from West Virginia.
Oh, let's go.
about it.
Hey, we're pumped you're on the show.
She went to Marshall.
Okay, go
Then
Herd.
she went to WVU.
Okay, go yours.
And so, like, when he comes on, it's like everything in the house stops. And I'm like, will you stop?
Are you serious right now?
Talking about an overweight punter who got a gig doing this thing.
Every once in a while, the weight comes and goes. The weight comes
I
and
have
goes.
the same issues.
Yeah, I like to eat, enjoy
No,
life.
she loves your show, seriously. And,
So you know our show exists.
Yeah. Listen, we have a lot of similar beliefs and feelings too.
Okay.
And so
Hell yes.
it's a good thing.
Come on.
Yeah.
We're
it's a good
pumped
thing.
that you're here. We're thankful you're here. We're big fans of yours. Let's dive right into it. Normally, when somebody comes on here pitching something, it does not affect our lives.
Yeah,
Nope,
look, this
at
is
all.
easy.
This affects our lives.
Big time.
Zebra Technology. These are in the balls. How come they're not using it yet,
These
Sean?
are easy. Hold on. It's in my pocket here. I got a pocket mint, and then I got.
Super Bowl ring. It's hard to get in his pocket with that Super Bowl
Oh,
ring.
yeah, it's tough with the tight.
So
Okay.
this is a chip, but let's start with Zebra first.
Okay.
You know how we buy something in the store, like your water? Hand me that. You
Oh,
see
I like
You see
this.
the little barcode here?
go.
This is Zebra. This is what they do for a living.
Okay.
When they scan it at the store, that's Zebra. And so that's the barcode stripes is how they came up with the term Zebra. Anyway, so the NFL 9 years ago said, hey, we want some of that. And the chips went in the pads, and look, the player union went crazy because they're able to say this guy went 22 miles an hour, or he traveled the longest today, or the field goal went through the right portion of the upright, and then it's just grown. For me, my first experience in New Orleans was I was getting practice data after 2-a-day practices. So a normal 2.5-hour practice, wide receivers traveled 6 miles. And so you'd look at you'd look for an outlier. Like there's Brandon Cooks. Why is he 8 miles today and everyone else is 6?
Yeah.
And I just don't want the soft tissue injuries.
Hammies, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Hammy.
want that. And so rather than just saying, hey, we're going to back off reps, like let's be exact with what we're talking about. The offensive linemen traveled 2 miles on average.
Whoa.
Now, once the O-linemen realized that this was in their shoulder pads, the minute they got on the field, they just started walking in circles to meet their quota.
Absolutely.
But,
I'm working.
yeah, so for me, it was really just being a little bit more exact with data relative to workload. How fast, how far, let's back off, because we're not training the same anymore. Before we knew any better, we just went
hard
the whole time, and then we had a day before backed off, and we're learning now that there's really this type of, you build up, you peak, then you come off of it again, you build up, and gradually you're hitting higher points. So I've been with them 6 years, they've been with the League 9. These things are in the footballs now.
Yeah, they just signed an extension through 2025. I just read this actually, and I was talking to a representative, I think, from Zebra. Why aren't they using? Is it not as exact?
It's coming.
Okay, that's good news for the football.
Huge.
That's
Because
good news.
here's the first thing. You ready? This is the goal line.
Yep.
All right. And there's a big scrum, and half the time
Humans.
we can tell when the knee's down usually, but we don't know where the ball is. And so the minute that happens, wouldn't you like to see the uprights light up?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
like
Big
tennis, like tennis.
Well, when I shoot a jump shot right now in the NBA at the closing
Clean.
seconds, the backboard lights up when it's 0-0-0.
Easy to tell.
All I have to do is look at the hand and the ball.
Yep.
And if the ball's in the hand, it's no good. And if the ball's out of the hand when it lights up, it's good. So wouldn't we want, because we're trying to help the officials, wouldn't we want that light, and then I just got to see if the knee's down or not.
Yes.
And so, but here's the better one, and you know this. The punt that goes out of bounds in the air.
Bro, they fuck us so bad.
But think about the
You know it, Sean.
No, but
They-
here's
they
the deal.
Go, 10 yards less. It's like,
Ready?
my family's going to care about this.
The back referee looks, and this other guy, he just waves his hand and said, yeah, it looks about right.
Yeah, he literally stands there like he's not behind you when you punt. Sean, you're right. This needs to be talked about.
It's the most random thing in the world.
This ref is all the way over here, 15 yards back this way. I punt the ball out of bounds this way. He has to run and try to get from behind me and he points like this. And then another ref is running down the sideline, and then they get to the spot, it's like right here, and it's like, there's no way
So
that
hear me
is
out.
where that ball went out of bounds.
What's worse?
Thank you for this,
What's
Zebra.
worse about it,
Thank
though?
you, Sean.
Think about this. We go into break and don't even yawn at it. Like we don't even
No.
question
Nope.
it. When's the
Yeah.
last time you've seen someone say, he's way off? That thing.
27-yard punt out of McAfee, he didn't get a hold of it. It's like, whoa, it was a perfect punt.
Wherever he decides to stop, we're like it's anyway. So that's coming, I think. And,
With Zebra.
well, yeah, and the reason it's coming with Zebra is because they got the chip, they're in the ball, they're with the league. They initially came to the league though, and I'll be honest with you, it was for the studio entertainment value that
Stats and analytics.
Yeah, my kids enjoy next gen stats
Mm-hmm.
is Zebra, and so look,
Damn.
we get PFT all the time, and I'm like the skeptic. Right? And so when someone says the analytics say, and I'm always like, well, who's analytics?
Pro Football Focus.
Well, who's analytics? Yeah, Pro Football Focus.
Yeah.
Not Pro Football Talk. I question Florio, too.
Yeah,
Right.
Sure. We all
That's
do.
kind of Florio's world, though. I mean, that's,
But it's still like, according to who? But this just, like, we got to look for ways to constantly, how do we make their jobs easier? Like last week, we had a chain gang. All right, it broke.
Change.
Yeah.
All right, now that wasn't the best part. The best part was they brought the new one out, and all of us saw what a tangle issue is, right? We've had that with our hoses, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
cords, wires.
yeah, but they make hoses now you can't tangle, right?
Yeah, because of.
Because of. And so what I thought of when I saw it is, are they going to go to commercial? Because they still have 20 bucking seconds to get this untangled.
Buck 'em.
Buck 'em.
Buck 'em.
20 more seconds. And I don't know that anyone else is watching. I'm like, that's a 20-second tangle.
We all had similar thoughts, and Coach, we're pumped here with Zebra because you're obviously a big voice and influence in the NFL. So if you're behind it, hopefully the powers that be will be. It'll be good for all of us. Let's move on to Buckham here.
Yeah.
Because you said that yesterday. I don't know if you were just kind of, if you thought about that, if you're
You want to move on with the new slogan, though?
Yeah, was Denver, though, always where
I don't know.
we thought you were going to Denver from
Jump. Right
Jump.
away.
Yeah, you had good insight.
Is that what you thought, too? Did
I
you
did.
assume you were going there from the
Well, the 17th was the first day that I could visit with another club. It was unique because here's the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge is the contract, the compensation, the Saints. So that's an element I'll talk about in a second. But on the 17th, that morning of, Greg Penner, George Payton, Condoleezza Rice arrived. We did an interview, and I felt great about it. It was fantastic. I think, having been in this league for 16 years with the Saints, I had a great triangle. I had great ownership from the late Mr. Benson, his wife, Mrs. Benson. Mickey Loomis is my closest friend, who's the GM. And so when that triangle's clean, you have a chance. It doesn't guarantee you're going to win, but it gives you a chance to win because it's not clean at a lot of clubs. It's dysfunctional a lot of places. And so that was most important to me. When they left, I felt like, man, that was fantastic. And then visiting with the other clubs, it's all great. But the only thing left was, I don't know what this compensation is going to look like, and
For you or for the Saints?
yeah.
Both.
For me is the easy part, and I say that meaning, hey, this is where
Precedent, yeah.
This is where it's going to fall. The complicated one was the Saints, and so here's a close friend of mine, Mickey Loomis, and I'm talking to him a little bit, trying to set the table, and
Hey, this is what they're thinking.
this is what, and Mickey's looking at the Gruden Raiders deal, and I'm like, Mickey, we never looked at the Raiders. Anything the Raiders ever did, we threw out.
Selling a little bit. Yeah,
We just didn't count. So any transaction that took place with the Raiders,
Same with the Browns.
we just didn't count at the time.
yeah, of course. Why are we counting it now?
Yeah, and so that's exactly right. And then eventually it became George Payton and Mickey Loomis discussing this. And I remember talking to Greg Penner, and our owner, and saying, hey, Greg, if this thing, if he's going to want this and that's the final, I don't want you to do it because it's us and it's too much. And I wouldn't do it if I were you. And I don't want to come there having given, because it's really
Disadvantage.
our stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm back with Mickey. I'm like, what are you doing, man? We're supposed to be close friends here, and then Mickey's got to do what's right for the organization. I'll say this. There was 3.5, 4 days where Mickey and George were on the phone 24/7.
Really?
And trying to find, and these guys are both patient. GMs are, like, I want, like, I want to go now, right?
Yeah.
And Greg Penner's used to doing a deal like right now. And I'm like, look, in this world, a trade in the NFL a lot of times will take a week.
Yeah.
You know, there's conversations, and then we see the trades on draft day. Well, those
Have been cooking.
Yeah, they've been cooking.
Yeah,
That's right.
So let's talk about the trade. It ends up happening. You're worth a lot more than what they traded, so I think George Payton should be happy with whatever happened with the Mickey Loomis deal, but obviously good friend of yours. The Saints are going to do what the Saints are going to do.
Good.
They got Derek in the building right now. Who knows if he'll be their quarterback in the future with Dennis Allen, friend of yours, everything like that. Last night, you go to dinner with Sierra.
Wow.
You were at dinner with Sierra last
Unreal.
night. Russell Wilson. Yeah, you were.
You were something here.
You were there.
Yep. There's a
So
photo.
if I went to dinner with Sierra, we would have. I went to dinner and met Russell and Sierra and met Joe Montana and his wife.
Oh,
Joe.
so it's a power play. This is a power dinner.
So let me give you the
How's
dinner.
Montana get in there?
Listen, he was there before I got there, but it impacted. It impacted. So when I got into the league in '97, it was under the Gruden, Ray Rhodes. It was the West Coast Holmgren, Bill Walsh, Joe Montana, and all the cut-ups were Montana. Like it was the Bible. Like I still have these tapes that are like, and so when I sit down, I think, and I've met Russell, coached him in the Pro Bowl, and so but I think Russell's wanting to dive into the Broncos, and I'm like, so Joe, when you ran through that flank and drive, tell me how you read that.
Oh, that's hilarious. You're a little distracted.
Listen, it was that's the good thing about this week, because you see these people that were, man, Joe Montana was like,
Joe Montana.
he was something.
He's Joe Montana.
Right?
Yeah, somebody was trying to kidnap his granddaughter, and he took one of the Super Bowl winning footballs, threw the football, hit the kidnapping suspect in the beak, then slid down a railing, caught the baby.
Yep.
He's Joe Montana.
That's right.
We don't know if those are the exact details,
Something like that.
but something along those lines.
In that neighborhood.
He's Joe Montana. He's Western
His-
Pennsylvania stud.
Yeah, his son
Paisano.
was a quarterback that played at Tulane while I was at the Saints. And one night at a restaurant, in walks Joe and his wife, and they're there in town to watch his son play football. And you know, I'm now that annoying person that's just going over and saying, "Look, I know you guys are eating, but can we?" And then continue to talk. Like, I know you guys are having a meal and you're chewing right now, but when you're finished, can we?
And my wife hates when people do this
Oh
to
my
me,
God.
but you're fucking Joe Montana. I don't know what to tell you. How about Russ, though? How was the conversation?
It was fantastic.
You said you've coached him in the Pro Bowl.
I had him at the Pro Bowl.
Was that a big part of your decision on going to Denver?
Well, I
because there
kinda
was
knew-
conversation about quarterback and where you're going.
Yeah, I think this. You don't know someone if you haven't coached them. We played against them a lot. Like we had a stretch with the Saints and the Seahawks, NFC, and then playoffs, Beastquake game.
Yep.
That was a 7-9 Seahawks
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
hosting the 11 whatever.
Wild card.
And so
You guys had a lot of wins that year, you're saying? Had to go to Seattle.
no,
What the
but
fuck?
it happens every fourth year, and then everyone complains about the seeding. But the interesting thing about that is that team that had that 500 record or less wins that first game a lot. And Tampa didn't do it this year, but I was making that point on Fox, like, hey, 4-2 is what the record is. The
I didn't know that. That's a stat we did not know.
Right.
You just so happen to be on the receiving end of the most popular one.
Yeah. And
So, you looked into it.
Yeah.
Am I the only person?
bullshit.
No, I was so. It's a dangerous game for the team that's traveling with the wins, and the team that's got no wins, or the team that underachieved and hosts a playoff game. They were playing with house money.
Got you.
So we played against Seattle quite a bit. Look, Drew and I speak a lot. Russell lives 3 miles from Drew in Del Mar, and Drew for the last month is like, hey, are you close to making a decision? This guy is wearing me out.
Okay, so Drew Brees, Russell Wilson tight.
Yeah, well, they know, they live near each other. They know each other. And so I call up Drew and I said, hey, I'm going to make you a member of the staff. You're going to be the assistant head coach of Del Mar Coaching. So there had been some ties. Latavius Murray just walking past here.
Stud.
Right? Great guy. Come here, Latavius, real quick.
Yeah,
I'm going
come
to tell
on.
this story.
Yeah.
Come on.
We're not going to give you a microphone, but you're going to get to listen.
You look awesome.
Right?
Hey, great to see you, man.
Hell yeah.
No,
How you
man.
doing, man?
This is Latavius Murray, my guy.
How you doing, dude? You're a beast, bro. Hell yeah, man.
doing, man?
Played,
Yeah,
Hey, buddy. How you doing, bro?
Jeez, look at that.
and we didn't stage
big.
this.
Hey, how you doing?
So he'll remember this story. So he
Huge.
played for us at the Saints, and he's a real good runner, good wide zone runner, and still got speed, all of
Dog,
that.
yeah.
But makeup, character, toughness, like man, 5-star, right? And he ends up in he ends up in Denver with some injuries, and I'm kind of following him now. And, man, he has a 100-yard game, and he texts me. This is right at Christmas time, the 23rd of December. He sent this text, hey, my backfield teammate and I hope you come to Denver. And I'm thinking, well, backfield teammate, I'm trying to look up who the other running back is. I'm like, who are you talking about? And then he sent number 3. And then I realized that, so I'm like, all right, we're in the middle of the season here. And then I just, I text him back. I said, hey, just be careful what you're asking Santa Claus for.
Yeah.
That was the response. And look, all these things later just become funny. But I feel like, look, I can see from afar the things that all of us have read. When you go 5-12, there's a lot of dirty hands.
Sure.
It's not, we focus on the quarterback and the head coach. Someone brought this up the other, you watch Jacksonville this year, and all of a sudden we like the quarterback.
Oh, he's good at football.
Uh-huh.
He's good at football.
Right, but the year before was a hot mess.
This guy sucks. Yeah, that's what they were saying. That's
So-
the NFL, basically.
Wow.
Allegedly.
It still gets back to that triangle of, hey, where's the ownership group fit, and how do they see the role for the head coach? How does the GM fit, and how does he see the role? And I think that you can accomplish a lot when you have similar visions. And so when people talk about culture, it's used a lot, but really it starts with people. All right, it starts with details.
Hell yeah.
It starts with
Hell yeah,
people,
man.
because you
Appreciate you,
could try to have great culture with the wrong people, and it can never happen.
Yeah. Yeah, you can if you want. I don't know your coach. Hey, coach, you got to run. You got to go.
Run. I'm good.
You're
You
good?
heard me off the scent.
Go, man.
No, I'm not.
Oh.
They're telling me.
No, I'm good. So let's keep going here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Culture though comes with people. Everybody
Yeah.
assumes
Yeah,
Sean
no,
Payton
so
culture coming in winning.
Culture comes with people, and so that's important. It comes with details, and it comes with the correct ingredients. And so it's used a lot, but it's really pretty simple, and it's identifying certain things that you feel that you value are important. And I think that's our plan here in Denver. And look, it's not going to be for everyone.
Yeah, you're a hard ass. I heard.
Well, no, it's old school though, the new way a little bit.
Yeah, but
Hell
that
yeah.
you talked about because you have an incredible shoe game. Incredible shoe game.
right.
When you're on TV, you're fantastic. You're seemingly like this really cool guy, and which you are. Not saying you're not.
No.
But I don't think anybody expected until we started hearing rumors like, hey, Sean Payton is detail oriented. His accountability is something that's very real. You're an old school football coach. Do you think it still plays in this modern era?
I know it. Look, I'll give you an example. So I was lucky enough to work with Parcells for 3 years. And he wasn't afraid of confrontation. He felt like, he kind of grew up in an Italian household in New Jersey where it was like you just wore it on your sleeve, right?
These Pisons.
And so he got used to that. And so it was important for me to see him that way and then learn to address things right away rather than, it's something that I think by nature a lot of people shy away from. Here's one example. When you play in Green Bay, it's one of those fields where you have to wear the screw-ins. You just have to.
Yeah, because they're cooking the field and everything.
But it's longer.
Yeah.
And not only that, you wear the screw-ins and you put the longer screw-ins on the instep, John Kuhn,
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but the teams with the younger players that go there to play have the molded shoes, and they feel okay during pregame. They seduces you a little bit. But you can tell who's paying attention to details in that game. And so we're playing Green Bay, and I remember watching the running back for the Bengals. It's 3rd and 1, Mixon. He takes a jab step on a lead play, slips. The quarterback never gets it to him. That goes into overtime. Green Bay wins this game. And really, they're going to be in field goal range. It should never get to overtime. And so you're showing your team clips of this. And here's the thing, though. It's not like I'm asking you to wear these shoes. These are the shoes you have to wear. Like, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
And so, well, they hurt our feet. They mess. So, but on Monday,
Celebrations.
I've got 15 pedicurists
Yeah.
in the training room.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all you have to do is tip them.
Yeah.
Some of them are looking at your nasty feet for the first time. And so
That's a great example
That's
of
old school the new way.
Yeah, it is. That's like finer details. Let me tell you why I'm doing this. Yes, this is not an option. We are doing this.
And then when your feet feel sore,
we're going to take care of it.
Yeah, we're going to dip them in some salt bath and rub them and everything else.
And then wait until you hear next week. Next week we're playing in a stadium that has a lot of pressure in the air. These helmets you guys are going to be fucking wearing.
Yeah.
No, I think
all that stuff.
You're an incredibly successful coach. AJ has a question for you. I know that.
Yeah, that approach, has that changed, like, over your 16 years in New Orleans? How did that, like, from day one, where you come in as, like, hey, you were parcells in your brain, and then you slowly, like, morphed into this kind of hybrid?
Bill, the mistake would be me trying to be Bill. I'm nothing, like, we're different.
Did you ever try to do that?
No, I would do this once in a while. Bill would create a crisis. Like, if you won 4 games in a row or 5 games in a row, like, he would have a crisis.
Yeah. Just manufactured.
And it would be, and then it was like, so we would do this occasionally. We'd be heading out to the practice field, and he would say to me,
something's got to be wrong.
He'd say to me, hey, I'm gonna jump your ass today at practice, because he wanted to come down hard on me and let the quarterback, Quincy or Vinny Testaverde or Bledsoe. So he was going to jump my ass, all right, and the quarterback was going to see it, and then I was going to turn to him and say, hey, let's go, man, let's go, and so so sure enough, he's at 9-on-7, I'm at 7-on-7, and I hear this, Sean, are we completing any bucket passes? And I'm like, Bill, we got it, and he's like, I'm watching from back here, I don't like what I'm seeing, and so, hey, let's get Quincy, let's go, man.
Yes.
And then,
executing the plan.
And Bill would say that was for effect. Later in the season, there'd be that moment where he was jumping my ass, and then he would turn, and this isn't for effect.
Oh, this is real. This is real. I don't know which one's real. Oh, it's amazing. AQ Shipley has a question for you.
Yeah, so is there anything to be said, first of all, with 5'11" quarterback, right, Drew Brees, like coaching that quarterback versus the 6'4", 6'5" guy? And then the second part of this question is, being on TV, did you learn anything else from watching all the other offenses?
Yeah. Let me just start with being on TV. I get asked that a lot. I think, look, forget the analytics discussion and all that. You're watching still clock management, game management. I think the challenge, I saw Tom Brady talk a little bit about the execution of the game has slipped a little, and we can look at
bad football.
Yeah, and so what have we done lately in the last 10 years that was designed to make better football? Like, in other words, there are a lot of other initiatives. So,
do you think there's been bad football?
Yeah, I think it shows up in the offensive line.
Is that why you're coming back to coach?
It shows up in the offensive line play.
With the big guys.
It shows up because that's the group early on that needs the most
practice?
Chemistry. And so, look, like, I don't believe in sitting all our players during 3 preseason games. We're going to play them.
There's some Broncos players learning that right now.
Yeah, and this whole idea that they're going to be healthier, we haven't seen the data. There's nothing that tells us, So we're going to play in preseason games. Now, we'll have a method to how we do it. But I think this, what was your first question?
About 5'11" versus 6'4".
Here's what I think.
Right?
So there's this sweet spot that you would say exists for all positions. And let's say for quarterback, it's north of 6'2", and it's south of 6'5". But what's interesting when you go past that and you start trying to find 6'7", like those are like unicorns. Like, you're better off being 5'10" than 6'7", because there's more 5'10"
humans.
No, there's more 5'10" examples of successful quarterbacks than there are 6'7".
Yeah. Huh.
And so these discussions come up all the time. And so, yeah, we have. And this is analytics, right? We're discussing. Everyone bags on the hand size, but it matters. And so, this to here is 9 inches. If it's south of 9, it's not good. And history will tell you it's not good because it's windy, it's rainy, and
move in the pocket.
Yeah, but the ball coming out of your hand. So this league, we've seen 5'11". Drew Brees was 6'002", so he was north of 6 foot, but he wasn't 6'1". Now, he would argue, I know that I'm exactly 6 foot, but our league has seen Russell, our league has seen Kyler, these different players, and the only thing Bill would always say to us when a player dropped below prototype is he would say, look, does this guy walk on water? Like, because he was never not wanting to be sold on a player. He just believed a cornerback needed to be 5'11" or higher, and there were certain – he wanted them to be low cut, not leggy, so they could transition better.
Flip.
But if I brought him 5'9.5" at corner, he'd say, does he walk on water? And then you'd say with Aaron Glenn, yes. And he drafted Aaron Glenn in the first round out of A&M. So we were not in the business of just flat out.
Yeah.
But when you tell a scout, does he walk on water, that like changes things.
So Russell is, you feel like you can have a lot of success with Russell Wilson?
Absolutely.
That was a huge part of this whole thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we were all judging it. Which
Yeah.
quarterback does Sean Payton want to go to? Because I believe you made some remarks about a team that you'd like to go to. Is like, I'd like to be on the same page with the owner, general manager, and I'd like a quarterback, I believe. Now, there was a couple teams that didn't have a quarterback.
I'd say this. And this is a hypothetical, so I'm not, but if this perfect equation at quarterback existed but the other two didn't, that's a bad job.
Okay, so that was a big deal.
That's a bad job.
Okay.
The number one thing was ownership and front office, because that gives you the ability to fix, change, move, all of the above. If the other exists with the great quarterback, then you're just going to be a bad team with a good quarterback, and you're probably going to get fired.
Got it. So the quarterback alongside good ownership
Sure.
made Denver dream scenario. You see Russell Wilson still as
because
Russell
look,
Wilson.
when do you find like the perfect quarterback with the perfect ownership and
That
Those
job's
teams
not
don't
open,
coach.
probably.
Very
Yeah, I don't know if that
Andy
job's
Reid's coaching the Chiefs.
open. Coach, we appreciate you spending time with us. Good luck with Denver. You love Russ?
Yeah, I do. You're
You're going to make Russ better than Russ ever been, you think? Is that kind of all coaches' mentalities, I assume?
in Texas, they would say we're fixing to do it.
Hell yeah.
Buck yeah, dude.
Yeah, Buck, yeah.
Yeah, Buck yeah. Buck everybody else who says you can't do it. We
Yeah.
appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, Super Bowl champion, coach of the Denver Broncos, Sean Payton. All right, let's take like a 4-minute break real quick, and then we're back on the other side. We got Shaq Leonard, C.J. Stroud,
What?
Jordan Poyer,
What?
Michael Lombardi, Gabe Morency, and this is a treat.
That's good. I know.
yes.
Unreal.
You fucking coming in here and just sitting down and talking to us is massive for us.
No,
I
it
hope
was
you know
good.
that.
Listen, I love watching you guys. I honestly, when the outside person watches your show, they get pissed because they're jealous, right? And they and so all these pop-up shows that you just see with tank tops and like they got like 48 people are listening,
Sean.
and then you
Coach,
get a media
Coach,
request.
Coach,
Yeah.
Coach, they're good people. Coach. They're good people.
They're just trying.
You're the man. We hope to talk to you very soon. You got a
Appreciate
lot of
it.
work to do. Good luck with it all, ladies and gentlemen. Coach Sean Payton. We'll see
good.
you in 5. Take 5.